Hello everyone, this is Lawrence. I just completed one video which I'm going to post, and I'm doing another one here. The one I just did was somebody asked me, Lawrence, when you go to the thrift store to shop for albums, thrift store vinyl, how do you know if they're in playable condition? So I made a video on that. If you want to watch that as well, that's great. This is actually a follow-up video I made a few weeks ago on some country music thrift store finds from the Salvation Army, which I got for 10 cents each because they're trying to clear out their inventory. And I got there in time to zap up some really good stuff, so it's all in that video. Some classic country music, 4 really nice condition Charley Pride albums, still in shrink wrap, in beautiful condition. Okay, so this is a follow-up follow-up video because I went back there to do one more final check through, and I got a number of albums, so I'll be showing those off here along with some other finds. Got a lot of albums, and I want to keep this video short, so basically I'm just gonna hold them up and maybe elaborate, talk a bit, a few of them. So the Salvation thrift store on Little Creek Road, where they priced all the albums for 10 cents. A lot of crap in there, but I did find some good ones that I showed on the previous video 2 weeks ago, so view that one. This is the follow-up, okay? Again, in the genre of country music, and got a few Floyd Cramer albums, and along with this one too. This is still in shrink wrap. It's on the Camden RCA, which is their bargain line there. But this is still nice, still in shrink wrap, beautiful condition. This is actually in mono. Floyd Cramer was an excellent pianist, more associated with the Nashville sound, and he did the piano on that track, instrumental track, Last Date. So you know, great find there. And this is like the another K-Tel country compilation. I mean, this may look cheesy as hell, and they squeezed a lot of tracks on an album, and some people would say that deletes the sound quality, but the selections on this album here, I don't know if you can see them, of classic country music that's really not played anymore. Everything's you know, modern country. You got Charlie Rich, you got George Jones and Tammy Wynette, Sonny James, Stonewall Jackson, Ray Price, Carl Smith, Carl Butler, Strut Hamlin, and just that old school country and western there. Okay, another country, and we're still heavily into the country music. This is another compilation on the MGM label. Very cool album cover. 2 disc set here of country music artists that were on that label, like Hank Williams, Arthur Smith, Conway Twitty, Roy Acuff, Marvin Rainwater, Jimmy Newton. A very good collection, so if you just want to kick back and listen to some old school country music, great. And these are all in great playable condition, with maybe some issues here and there. I don't buy vinyl if it's not playable. The next artist is associated with the Nashville sound. They were kind of like the country version of Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, and these are in great condition. Danny Davis and the Nashville Brass. This one's a gatefold. And I would say pretty safe music, not adventurous, but still well put together. And yeah, they were kind of like the Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass of country music, and they just covered, you know, country songs and some of the top 40 pop. Down Yonder, Four Walls, Tennessee Waltz, Walking the Floor is Over You. So again, Danny Davis and the Tijuana Brass, Still in Shrink Wrap. That's a great album cover, isn't it? All 10 cents each, so you can't go wrong. Great condition, still in shrink wrap. So that's the Danny Davis and the Nashville Brass section right there. Got them all for 10 cents each. Whoever had these albums didn't play them that much, and they took very good care of them. Frankie Lane's greatest hit, still in shrink wrap. Vinyl's in beautiful condition. Why not? This is a compilation called Autumn Leaves. So it's music from like the hit parade era. It's 3-disc set. We thank for the corporation and companies extended by the following companies who have made these records possible. You know, they had licensing deals with record companies to put this set out here. And Wives and Lovers by Jack Jones, High Noon, I can't pronounce this person's name, I'm Sorry, Brenda Lee, Two Different Worlds, Jane Morgan and the Troubadours, you know, music like that era, you know, which is cool to listen to now and then. You may laugh at these two, particularly this one, but I tell you what, this guy could sing the hell out of those cowboy songs, and I'm talking about Slim Whitman, All My Best. You may remember him in the early 80s where he had like a career revival through a TV ad of his best work. I think this is the record here. This is a great record. I mean, he could really sing. Sold more records than the Beatles in England was the catchphrase. Sorry for lads. And another related artist, Roger Whittaker, and he had that hit in the 70s, The Last Farewell. Great voice there, and happy to have this in my collection. Boots Randolph, again on the Candom bargain label, which is cool, and it's in mono. Okay, I think we're out of the thrift store 10 cents range, and these are just some other vinyls I picked up. This was another thrift store called the Best Thrift, and I got these for 45 cents. Juice Newton, that had their hit Angel in the Morning, Queen of Hearts, and some other songs. She's, I think she's from Virginia Beach, where in my area where I live. Don't know whatever happened to her, but she had a couple of hit records for her time. Another Roger Whittaker album. This is these ones I'm showing now, Juice Newton and this one and the ones I'm showing were 45 cents each. This was a double disc of him doing love ballads. So I gotta love this guy's voice. The Xanadu soundtrack. One side is ELO, And then the last track of the ELO side is actually Olivia and ELO doing the hit song Xanadu, and the other side is Olivia Newton-John. So you're kind of getting like a half of ELO album here, which is great because I love Olivia Newton-John. I love her hits. She's a very beautiful woman, but I don't think I could have taken a whole album of hers. I wasn't that big of a music fan. I like just the songs on the radio. Okay, I showed this on the other video, okay? And then the thrift store where the thrift store which I just showed the vinyls, you know, with my last shows there, the Best Thrift Store, they had a identical copy, still in shrink wrap, new. So I actually brought this one from my friend, 45 cents. So that's been given to him, Ricky Van Shelton. And last from the Best Thrift Store, the Best of Joan Baez. It's a lovely cover. She's really styled up there. So this was put out on A&M Records, and the track that got the most notoriety is Diamonds and Rust, which is a title track from that album, which I actually have. So she made some good recordings with A&M Records. What else? The Grateful Dead, American Beauty. I got this from Thrift Store City, USA, which usually mark up the more desirable titles of rock albums, you know, classic rock. But they missed this one as a Grateful Dead album. That they would mark their albums and the classic rock albums up from anywhere from $5.99 on up. I'm sure they would have charged at least $8.99 for this, but because of the artwork and the guy didn't catch it who puts the price on them, he only put this at $1.99. And while the cover has wear on it, the vinyl's in excellent condition. I'm not a big Grateful Dead fan, but I could not turn that down. Okay. We're going to wind this down. My nephew gave me this one yesterday. I don't even have a Culture Club Greatest Hits, so happy to have that. I like some of their songs. I'm sure I might like this album too. The Command Record, Doc Severson. And the Command Records, I have to do a video onto itself. There's a great history on Command Records. The leader of the Tonight Show band, Doc Severson. This is great. Really, really brassy trumpet playing. Again, Thrift Store City. This was $2.99 because they marked up the good titles. They marked them up, but they're usually like $1.49. But Muddy Waters' Greatest Hits. And blues music is hard to find on vinyl, although this is Chess 1970s reissue, and it contains all the big hits, more known songs from Muddy. It's still great to have. The vinyl's in good playable condition, and very happy. Isn't that a great picture? Les Baxter. You may remember Denny Martin, who's associated with Exotica music. Well, Les was a big artist in that field too, and he was on the Capitol label, and this is a 2-record set. He also did arranging for Nat King Cole and various other things. So, where Denny's music, there's a lot of exotic, tropical sounds like birds, you know, tropical animals. This one is more orchestrated in the Exotica setting. not a big opera fan, but I could not turn this down. This is beyond my intelligence. This is on the gramophone classical label, 2-disc set of his best recordings, and I don't really know anything about opera. I could not turn this down. Oh, let's go back to lists and what I'm showing now. I got these at the Diversity thrift store when I was in Richmond visiting my brother, and these were 45 cents each. I sampled this the other day. It sounds great, and he could sing in like 5 languages, you know, do opera in 5 languages. It was amazing. The best of Tommy Dorsey, 2-record set, no gatefold. This was originally released as a gatefold, but it was a later reissue, later pressing rather, and they did with the gatefold as a cost-cutting measure. Sit Down and Talk to Me, Lou Rawls. This is a 1979 release, and I played this. This is really great. I like Lou Rawls and his voice, his nice warm, you know, voice. 1980s Dionne Warwick, which Barry Manilow produced this album, and it contains 2 hits, I'll Never Love This Way Again and Deja Vu, sort of like a kind of a quiet storm type of R&B music. And what I found out was Deja Vu, Isaac Hayes composed the music for that song. Somebody else did the lyrics. Another Floyd Cramer album. This time he's, instead of piano, he's on the keyboard console there. This is RCA label. Very cool. Billie Holiday, 1940s recording she made in the May of 1944, which is cool. And you got to think, oh, World War II was going on. That was about, and we were getting close to D-Day, and so listening to these recordings, I can kind of connect the political events that was going on at the time. And anytime I could get some Billie Holiday on vinyl, I will do so. That's in good playable condition. A classic folk live album that was released in that was recorded in 1959 and released that year, later that year, which was the year I was born, is Harry Belafonte at Carnegie Hall. Now, I've got about 3 copies of this album, but this is on early pressing right here. This is an earlier pressing, which I do have a copy of this earlier pressing, but one of the vinyls has a gaff right through it, which you can hear, you know, pop, pop, pop. This one doesn't, so I'm going to replace the bad one with the good one from here. So since they are the same pressing, that's great. The last one, I don't normally buy these, but every once in a while you run across a good one, and if you do thrift store vinyl shopping, you've seen tons of these huge box sets, mainly put out by Reader's Digest. I got this one because, and usually people who bought these through like television ads did not play them a lot or played them at all, and they're in great condition. Reader's Digest, they contracted the pressing out, so the quality varies. But I listened to this the other day. It was kind of noisy, a little bit at the quieter passages at the beginning of the song and between tracks, but once they got into it, it sounds great. Grand Old Country, okay? It's a 8-disc set there. You pull each one out. And what they did, all these artists were signed to Columbia Records or Epic Records, and so they did a license agreement. So you have the Johnny Cash, June Carter, the Carter family, Roger Miller, Lynn Anderson, Johnny Horton, Charlie Walker, Arthur Smith, Mother Maybelle Carter, Earl Scruggs. And what they did was right here are all the titles, and each side they gave a theme to. The Superstars, Super Hits, side 1. Superstars, Super Hits, side 2. So the first disc is that. And then disc 2, the Cash and Carter families, side 1, side 2. Here we go again, George Jones and Tammy Wynette, Country Roads, another theme. So each side has a theme with related songs to that theme. And what is also cool is you pull these out on the back side, it gives an explanation about the artists and why they recorded that song. So this set here, and I can't get this to slide back in. Something's holding it up. Oh, okay, let's see. I'll worry about that in a minute. That was only 45 cents. So you got some songs here that crossed over, like Flowers on the Wall, crossed over the mainstream, Ring of Fire, and then Big Country Hits itself. So just one of those hits you buy on the internet for $1, but I got all these songs for like 45 cents. So I'm happy to share all these vinyl with you. Now I can put it into the Excel spreadsheet and then put it on the shelves. Thrift store vinyl record collecting is so fun because you get a very eclectic range of music, and that's what I really like about it. Okay, that's it. I'm going to end this video. I haven't got too much time left, so please leave your comments. I love to hear from you. Y'all take care. Bye.